My name is Cameron Turnbow, and I am the Senior Director of Customer Success here at Closed. Today, I am joined by Vanessa Jones from Genesys. Vanessa, if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit about you and your role at Genesys.
Thank you. My name is Vanessa Jones, and I lead the Market and Competitive Intelligence team at Genesys.
Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got involved in competitive intelligence and also win-loss analysis.
Yes, so I have been in various companies managing, onboarding, running competitive intelligence teams, and really started my career out about 8 years ago as a competitive intelligence analyst. I had some sales background before that, but really wanted to dig into why we were winning, why we were losing, and really help set sales and the broader business up for success to really make the right strategic decisions and win more deals.
Awesome. As you started diving into win-loss analysis, trying to understand why you're winning and losing more deals, tell us about that experience. What was that like as your first exposure to win-loss?
Oh gosh. So my first role and experience with win-loss was a very manual process. There was a lot of outreach that had been done back in the day, a lot of manual reports we had to build, just a lot of really tedious legwork, reaching out to different teams to get the right contacts and information. But ultimately, we had worked with vendors to do that. Lots of different vendors out there that you can use and leverage for third-party win-loss. And ultimately, the greatest experience or part of the win-loss program is when you get to share those insights out with the business and really help the business make stronger, better, more actionable decisions to move the company in the right direction. And just getting to celebrate some great, awesome wins by sales teams and also help them learn and get some great feedback from why they lost and where can you course correct to really redirect what you need to do to win the deal and ultimately make your customers happy and successful. That's what matters most.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I'm curious with the relationship between competitive intelligence and win-loss analysis. How have you seen that evolve throughout your professional career? And how do they support each other in terms of helping your companies win more?
So ultimately, I think the function of a competitive intelligence practice and win-loss program overall at a business is only getting more and more important. The market is getting hyper competitive. We also have things like AI coming into place where a lot of these analyses can be done more easily, more quickly, and executives are expecting us to give them the best and the rightest insights as soon as possible. So it's just becoming more and more important. And I think that understanding and the ability to pivot and have agility in what you're doing is mission critical for businesses to be successful.
So you mentioned that your executive team is very interested in these types of insights, especially in real time. How have you gathered feedback like this on a consistent basis, and especially account for competitors that are probably consistently evolving and changing?
Yeah, so ultimately, the market is moving so fast in technology. Things are changing on a monthly basis. Every company, our competitors, our company is launching new products on a weekly basis. And so there's so much evolution that takes place across a business quarter. And so it's essential for us to be able to have agility and speed in the decision-making process so we can stay ahead of our competitors and continue to be the market leader.
So as you've launched these programs, how has win-loss impacted your career?
Win-loss has been such a great career booster for me, and just for the CI team, the insights that you bring back to the business. I think the work that I've done in prior stages of my career in managing and building out before I was a decision maker for our win-loss programs at prior companies and different experiences, it's been able to give a foundational understanding of what's going on within the business, help understand the challenges of our customers, what's going on in the field, and then ultimately bringing those insights up to our leadership team and to core leaders at the business to make stronger product roadmap decisions and also into the sales organization. How that's impacted my career is it's helped me have the right evidence and the right information to give that feedback to our leadership team. So, we can always bring in a closed customer story, the quotes that we're getting from the interviews and transcripts to really help articulate that point. And, a proper CI team is going to be looking at a multitude of resources and reporting and analytics and stuff for the business, but ultimately bringing in those customer quotes, like that's what matters most. Is if you have an organization that's hyper focused on customer success, hearing the direct feedback from the customer is essential for any program that you have.
Yeah, that's interesting. In your current role, you brought in Closed to help with win-loss analysis at Genesys. Talk me through that process. Why did you decide to bring in a third party to help with win-loss analysis?
So in past roles, I've used a handful of different solutions, whether it's certain smaller consultant practices or other cloud platform solutions. And ultimately, the best experience I had was with Closed. The technology that you can use with the platform is very actionable, and it's easy to pull out the right quotes that you want, the insights, pull different tags and reporting to make extracting those insights really easy to get in front of our leadership team or sales teams to help them win deals. So I think that Closed, ultimately we needed a stronger solution. We had something in place, but it wasn't really widely adopted in the way that we wanted it to. Yeah. And, we're just a year into Closed and we have so much great opportunity ahead. It's been really great to partner with Closed on what we want to do for win-loss. We have an excellent program manager that's always giving us really good tips and tricks for what we can be doing to better optimize the platform, different interview strategies that we can be working with, or the right questions to ask. And I think ultimately having a third party or for us to be able to use a third party allows the customers to feel sort of a sense of safety in what they share. Sometimes it's hard to give anyone direct feedback, but if you have someone else that you can share it with, there's sort of a safety net in what you say where you're not necessarily hurting someone's feelings because, you're speaking directly to them. Yeah. It also removes a bias. And I think that's a really great part. It's an essential part of a win-loss program.
Yeah, that's interesting. You mentioned now, a lot of the positive things about working with a third party and Closed. What have been some of the challenges as you have launched with a third party and working with a company like Closed?
So, I don't know if this would necessarily be just a challenge of working with a third party, but a challenge with a win-loss program is it takes serious commitment. You still, you can't just say, set it and forget it. My third party is going to manage it. You have to have a program manager within your company. You need internal champions that will help drive the program forward, making sure you're targeting the right opportunities, constantly updating your interview guide. As we've shared, the market moves so quickly. Questions that we were asking 6 months ago have drastically shifted just due to the way that the landscape has evolved. And so, it does still take a lot of work from an internal team to manage, support, and drive the value, deliver the value of the win-loss program. It's definitely not like you are completely hands-off and it's an autopilot program. Yeah. And it shouldn't be. A proper program, in my opinion, you internally have to drive it forward very strongly as well. Yeah,
constantly evolve. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. As you're getting some of this feedback through the win-loss, through your win-loss program, I would imagine you've encountered some hard truths at times. Talk to me about how you manage that, maybe those harder truths that maybe people don't love to hear, but are still important. How do you manage that internally?
I've experienced this at just about any role that I've had in competitive. There's always teams that it's hard to hear tough feedback sometimes. It's hard. A lot of folks really take a lot of pride in their work, and rightfully so. It makes sense for a reason. And using Closed or a third party really helps take the pressure off of a CI team or any team that really leverages Closed or insights to share with leadership or whatever team that you're working with that, hey, you are building a great product, or the sales process is great. You did your best effort, and this is just how it's received in the market. Yeah. It sort of takes the personal part out of it and just keep it onto this is the feedback of the customer. Our intentions are good, and we just need to pivot slightly.
What have you found to be the real value of win-loss analysis?
Win-loss is a core pillar to a competitive practice, and not only competitive, but it touches just about every team within the business. The insights that we get are incredibly meaningful for product, for enablement, for sales and go-to-market teams, for our marketing team, as well as sales and leadership as well, just to figure out where are we going next? Where do we continue to evolve and press forward with things? So we are sort of the connective tissue between all parts of the business and can help everyone up level together and move in the right direction as one Genesys, as we like to call it. But that's the way that we move forward with the feedback.
Yeah, that's awesome. Vanessa, you've seen a lot of vendors out there. What stands out to you about Closed? What does Closed offer that you feel like is different?
Well, many things. Working with Closed, and I've had the good fortune of working with Closed at a couple of companies. So, again, a handful of different vendors in the past, whether it's consultant firms or other cloud platforms, but essentially the Closed team, I have so much respect and I hold the entire company in high regard. Everyone that we've worked with is incredibly respectful, personable, and delivers everything we ask on time and is very friendly and just fun to work with, very professional. And, I think that it's like the give and take that we get. It's not just we're using the product, they're fulfilling a service, but we've really partnered with our program manager to make sure that we have the best practices in place. And again, we're always getting the latest and greatest ideas and recommendations of how we can really leverage the tools that we have today. It's not, every time we're talking to someone from Closed or being upsold of a new shiny product, it's just like, hey, let's optimize what you guys have today. How can we double down on the value for you? And again, I think that it's having that strong collaboration. A win-loss program is very collaborative between the third party and between the company that's purchasing it. And it's been a great relationship to have in place where sometimes it's just a little more pushing that you have to do internally to make sure you're getting the right information. And it's been a really great experience working with Closed.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to ask you to put on your advisor hat for a little bit and give some advice. For someone that's just getting started doing win-loss analysis and trying to launch a program, what advice would you have for them?
So get the process in place. That is a really important step. I think that data quality is always a big topic when you are launching a win-loss program. It's got to be as solid as possible with your CRM and whatever solution you're using to sort of connect, however you choose to do it. But figuring out your data quality and your data strategy is essential. Closed has a lot of best practices and tips that you can learn from as well. The other piece is getting buy-in from your leadership team. I think that's a huge value add is when you're in alignment with your top leaders on what you're trying to do within the program, you can have more agility to do what you need to do to get the insights back to the leadership team. And they're excited about it when they get to read out the reports. So it's great.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, Vanessa, thank you so much for your time today. This has been an awesome conversation.
Yes, thank you. It's always great to talk to you.